Cultural Affairs and Tourism. So today is Thursday and today is the 25th of September 2025. So today main card press briefing will be addressed by Ambassador PUL or Liberia European representative to the IMO and Mrs Julius Kanubah, Liberia Press Union of Liberia President. So they are just showing how like to say welcome. This is LNTV Liberia License. Stay and stay with us. Don't you go away to bring you full coverage of MCAT regular press briefing. Keep following.
Distinguished colleagues of the press, our esteemed guests, Facebook followers, radio listeners, we'd like to welcome you to the Charles Beyond Press Hall, where our regular Tuesdays and Thursday press briefings are held. This afternoon, the presiding officer for today's press briefing is Liberia's Deputy Information Minister for Press and Public Affairs, Honorable Daniel Sando. Minister Sando is here along with the Acting Minister of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, Honorable Johnny Takwa. Today's press briefing will play host to Liberia's permanent representative to the International Maritime Organization based in London, Ambassador Monsieur Pale. Ambassador Pale will provide you update on the summit that is expected to be held in Liberia. The President of the Press Union of Liberia, Mrs Julius Kanubah, will also come and talk about the Press Union of Liberia anniversary. Without much ado, I'd like to invite the Liberia Deputy Spokesperson, Honorable Daniel Sando, who will speak to you on progress made by the government, both local and internationally. Minister Sando.
Good afternoon, all of you. Good afternoon to your various audiences. We are happy to be back here behind this microphone in the historic Charles Beyond Hall. And I want to say thanks to all of you for taking seriously the job, the piece of assignment that you have to execute at the ministry. Many of you come on time, making sure that your gadgets are in place to provide coverage for the government press conference. We also want to say thanks to radio stations that are relaying, answer your questions, provide you updates on a regular basis. So today we have, and like Famole said, we have two distinguished gentlemen in our midst. One does not need any introduction. He is the President of the Press Union of Liberia, Mrs Julius Kanubah. We like to welcome you. Mr. Kanubah is here to just coming PUL anniversary. So he ain't come to talk government business, he come to use his platform because, you know, the Ministry of Information is a sector ministry for all Liberian journalists. The Ministry of Information is the sector ministry for all Liberian journalists. And so when the President of the Press Union of Liberia made a request and said, okay, we want to come to pass an announcement for the upcoming anniversary of the PUL, we can't say no to that. So what we'll do, we'll kind of deviate from our regular protocol here. The President will make the announcement. I'm not too sure you have a question for him. But if you have questions, he will take one or two, and then he will leave us, so we can talk our government matter. Also here is the Honorable Robert Bale, somebody who used to work here before, but now in different capacity. Liberia's permanent representative to the International Maritime Organization. And when you hear about all of the transformation that Liberia can now boast of in the maritime sector, talking about re-election back to Category A, the upcoming AMA conference, Mr. Robert Kpadah is the progenitor of all of these reforms. So he's here to talk about it. And we want to welcome Honorable Kpadah and his team to the refurbished conference room. Yeah. So, as I indicated, I will now take my seat while I invite to the podium the President of the Press Union of Liberia. You will see what he has to say. He will leave, and then I will come to do some housekeeping, and then Honorable Kpadah will make his presentation, and will jointly entertain questions from members of the press that are here. Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Minister Sando, for your kind words and for the introduction. So I would like to stand on existing protocol, but also to state that the permanent rep to the IMO, he's a member of the fraternity. So, Mr. Kpadah, yeah, we extend our greetings to colleagues in the media from different media organizations. We'd like to say warm greetings to all of you. It's good to be at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. I know you are in your political season. I'm told tomorrow you'll be conducting the process here, if all goes well, right? So we are wishing you the best in terms of your decision making to electing a new leadership. So it's good to be here, to be given this opportunity to speak with you and to you. I also like to thank Minister Famole, acting minister, right? I hope he becomes minister proper. Yeah, for affording us this opportunity. We've been in talks a lot. So colleagues of the media, we wish to again restate the position of the union in terms of the anniversary celebrations. So on yesterday, we officially announced that celebrations of the union's 61st anniversary will take place on Tuesday, September 30, 2025. That's next week. The celebrations will be held in Monrovia, and the theme of the celebration is commemorating our past, constructing our future. We are happy to announce that the resident representative of the Office of the ECOWAS Commission in Liberia, Ambassador Josephine Nkrumah, will serve as the keynote speaker. This year's anniversary is intended not only to honor the legacy of the PUL in advancing press freedom and journalist rights, but crucially to underscore the union's resource mobilization initiative for the construction of a national headquarters. And that national headquarters will be known as the Staton Peabody Media House. As I was coming in here, the permanent rep said he's willing to make his contribution. So we are happy that different people in society are contributing towards the construction of the PUL headquarters. So the program on Tuesday will begin with a parade at 10 a.m. from the Capitol Hill campus of the University of Liberia to the PUL new head office at Wanan Avenue, Nam Street in Cinco. It will be followed by indoor ceremonies starting at 12 p.m. So 3 colors of t-shirts and caps have been approved and put on sales. I hope some of you already have your t-shirts. If not, you have to go because demand is high and supply may be limited on the eve or during the celebrations. So the 3 t-shirts are in different colors, like I said, red, white, and blue. So those colors collectively symbolizes those colors collectively symbolizes the continuing resistance against anti-free speech press practices through calmness, reliability, and impartiality. The PUL leadership, along with the Anniversary and Resource Mobilization Committee, encourages all journalists and members of the PUL, media practitioners across Liberia, inclusive of media workers and communication practitioners, to join the celebrations. And we need to take very seriously the solemn generation of journalists project to construct our headquarters. That is the future permanent home of the Press Union of Liberia. So just a small background, the PUL, as many of us know, was founded in Monrovia on 30th September 1964. It was formed to advocate for press freedom and the protection of journalists. The birth of the PUL was a long struggle. It grew out of a crisis with the legislature. Journalist Staton Peabody, as we said, had written an article critical of the lawmakers. He is said to have referred to the lawmakers as radicals. So he was held in contempt, arrested, and jailed. So his colleagues immediately mobilized solidarity action in support of Staton. So going forward, the PUL has been existing for those number of years. So we are happy to live on that legacy. So colleagues in the media, we hope to see all of us at the anniversary celebrations. Again, we like to say thanks to the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism and all of our dignitaries who we've invited. They've confirmed their participation. So we look forward to seeing you. As the minister said, maybe if you have any questions, you have to come to the head office, right? So I'll leave you. Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thanks, colleagues.
So just before that was the PUL President, Honorable Julius Kanubah, announcement, and I'm sure that the Ministry of Information will be fully represented. So we are wrapping up analysis on the President's presentation at the UN General Assembly, and then begin some rounds on the radio station. Many thanks to the publishers that have made it a duty to highlight portion of the speech delivered by the President at the 80th section of the United Nations General Assembly. The President's speech was a collection of critical concerns from the perspective of Liberia. It was well presented. He started by welcoming the election of Liberia as a non-permanent member of the UN Security Council for the 2026-2027 term. The President indicated that this tenure to the Council marked a significant step for Liberia's progress. 80 years after Liberia signed the Charter of the United Nations. The President went on to reassure the world that although the office will be occupied by Liberia, but the seat belonged to Africa. He noted that Liberia will contribute to discussions and decisions that will shape our high-end experiences in conflict resolution, as well as our successes in peace building and democratic reform. The President threw light on wars in the Middle East, Europe, the displacement, climate change, and indicated that these are challenges that no country can solve alone. He stressed the need for continuous effort to uphold multilateralism in transacting business at the United Nations. On the war in Europe and the Middle East, the President reminded the UN that peace is often fragile and must be consistently defended. He said, voicing his support for all credible means for mediation efforts aimed at resolving the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, as well as the Israeli and Palestine conflict. The President reinforced the common African position for a two-state solution in resolving the conflict between Israel and Palestine. Liberia stands behind the common African position for the realization of the two-state solution. We call on the international community to act together and decisively to protect civilians, hold perpetrators of atrocities accountable, and strengthen mediation efforts to end the war. He went on to highlight Liberia's three peaceful and orderly democratic transitions since 2003, making it civil and more secure after more than 30 years of unrest. The President also emphasized the need for urgent reforms to the international financial architecture to ensure fair representation, a new approach to debt servicing, and financing that supports sustainable development, given that too many developing nations spend more on debt servicing than on health and education. The President renewed Liberia's call for international support and assistance in establishing the War and Economic Crimes Court. This, according to the President, further highlights the people of Liberia's aspiration for national healing and reconciliation through justice. And the mansion released that after the President delivered this fiery speech, he also continually engagement. He had bilateral with the Emir of Kuwait, who will bring you updates on the release as was published by the Executive Mansion yesterday evening. So we spoke with the folks from the Liberia National Fire Service. But before I go to the fire service, let me clarify that the attention of the Office of the Vice President was drawn to social media publications to the effect that the Vice President was flown out of the country, he's falling sick, what have you. Again, the office was compelled to deny those reports. They got in touch with the ministry and we said we're going to echo it. But what I can say to that effect is that we still haven't learned from our past. When people try to be so negative about everything, even the leadership of the country, it is just so wrong. It is just so wrong. We can have all our political differences, but to be in the business of wishing evil for another person simply because of political differences is unacceptable. The country that we want to build for our children's children is a country that respects human dignity over political differences. I will not call the names of some of those people that were making social media posts yesterday. All I can say to the public is that the Vice President is well. He had to attend something very important in Ghana, and he is scheduled to return to the country later this evening or early tomorrow morning. So that report is not true. The fire service responded to a call from the home of the former president, and as always, they treat every fire outbreak with seriousness. So they went there. Let me narrate, or let me quote verbatim what they sent us. On September 24th, 2025 at about 12:48 a.m. Wednesday morning, the Liberia National Fire Service received a call that a 9th Street residence of the former president was gutted by fire. Upon receiving the call, the second shift crew at the station on Ashmore Street immediately departed at 12:48 and arrived at the fire scene at 12:54. So how many minutes? You will know mathematics. 12:48, 12:54. They arrived there in just under 6 minutes. While Station 1 was fighting the fire, Station 4 and 5, along with ambulance, went as backup to Station 1. According to firefighters, the fire was from the president's room. That is to say, it started from the president's room. The fire later spread to the bed and dressers in the window. So, those who responded to the call, the distress call from the former president's house, their names are here. But the most important thing is that we are told that the firefighters are believed that the cause of the fire was as a result of an electrical shock. The fire was extinguished at 1:20 a.m. and the team departed the scene at 2:03 a.m. On Wednesday morning, that is September 24th, 2025, the fire investigator went to the 9th Street residence of the former president to investigate and establish the actual cause of the fire. But surprisingly, they were denied entry into the compound. They were told that they will be contacted when a need arises. So they stopped the fire investigators from going in. But many thanks to the men and women at the Liberia National Fire Service, that in spite of all of the constraints they face, they are still able to respond to a distress call in just under 6 minutes. That being said, the CDC issued a statement this morning to the effect that a fire outbreak was an attempt on the life of the former president and that it was a deliberate calculation by people believed to be associated with the government. As a government, we consider those allegations sweeping. We will not respond to it. What we want to hold the former president to is the fact that the government entity that is responsible for fighting fire responded to his call, and that after the fire was extinguished, they were denied access to the scene to continue the investigation. Now, if you have your house and fire is on your roof, you call the fire service, they went there, help you to extinguish a fire, and the next day they are stopped from entering because, according to you, you got reason to believe that a fire was set up by people who in the government or people from the Unity Party. It's up to you. But we just say that it's unfortunate that the former president is not leading by example. Luther Tappe, the current chairman of the Unity Party, his home was gutted by fire during the election, the campaign. He didn't stop the firefighters. What have they got to do with the politics of the country? These are people that are walking into the fire to save lives every day. And you try to politicize their work. That is not leadership on the part of the former president. It's not leadership. And we can only hope that the former president comes to the realization that he's accountable to the people who support him. When you try to play politics with everything, he's also accountable to the Liberian public, even those who don't support him. So his action now will make others to believe that this thing, it was all makeup, it was a sham to create an impression that you're being haunted. Only one thing can establish a cause of the fire: the investigation. The head of the NSA house, General Prince Johnson, is caught by fire in Pinsbury. So should we say that, oh, the opposition people go show soon, petrol bomb to your house? You can't do that. It's just unimaginable. So, many thanks to the fire service team. They've done their part. And every question that now lingers on the mind of the public will be directed to the former president, because it is his house, his private residence. Maybe there are reasons why he doesn't want the investigation to continue. Because if it continues, it will either determine that the fire was started by somebody deliberate action. But I do believe to prevent future fire outbreak, they have to investigate. But now they are being stopped. I'm hoping that they can call them back to continue the investigation. I just thought to say that because a lot of questions was being raised about what the fire service were doing and everything. And for us, as a spoke entity of the government, we are accountable to the public to provide answer to these issues. The U.S.-Liberia Partnership Dialogue date has been announced. And that date is 16 to 17 October 2025, and the dialogue will be held in Washington, D.C. The U.S.-Liberia Partnership Dialogue seeks to institutionalize U.S.-Liberia relations and promote diplomacy and economic cooperation between the two countries. The Partnership Dialogue provides a flexible, non-binding mechanism to ensure sustained high-level bilateral engagement on issues of mutual interest. This year's dialogue will be held on the theme Strengthening Bilateral Cooperation for Shared Prosperity. It will be hosted by the United States Department of by the United States Department of State and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Thematic areas of discussion will include governance and rule of law, anti-corruption strategies, judicial reforms, institutional accountability, public health system, education reform, gender equality and social inclusion, visa facilitation, diaspora engagement, border security cooperation, economic investment and business cooperation, trade facilitation, private sector development, tax and financial reforms, infrastructure and energy, reform in the energy sector, roads and public work, water and sanitation, information communication and technology, digital transformation, telecom regulation and cyber security cooperation, agriculture, food security and environment, and security and intelligence cooperation. Those will be the thematic areas of discussion for the conference. Also, the Liberia Diaspora Annual Conference starts tomorrow in the US. The two-day Liberia Diaspora Annual Conference starts on 26 September and runs up to September 28, 2025 in Arlington, Virginia. This gathering is more than an event, a moment to bridge the gap between the homeland and the diaspora, to foster meaningful dialogue and to inspire collective action for progress of our country. The conference is being held on the theme, Building the Future Together, Reconciliation, Healing, Growth, and Prosperity. The conference aims to address critical issues and explore collaborative solutions that will strengthen our shared future. His Excellency President Joseph Boakai Sr. will serve as Chief Convener and deliver the opening keynote address. His participation is a testament to the importance of this convening and the government's commitment to inclusive national development and diaspora engagement. The multi-sectoral steering committee on drugs and substance abuse is working, and the government, through this committee, today commenced a 3-day review and validation on the National Anti-Drug Action Plan 2025-2030. The validation convened a broad cross-section of stakeholders, including representatives from the legislature, judiciary, ministers, agencies and commissions, civil society, community-based organizations, and local government. The objective of the validation is to review, validate, and cost the 5-year National Anti-Drug Action Plan developed by the Multi-Sectoral Steering Committee on Drugs and Substance Abuse. The plan serves as a comprehensive framework to strengthen Liberia's coordinated and holistic fight against drug and substance abuse. Once validated, the National Anti-Drug Action Plan will serve as a guiding framework for coordinated intervention aimed at curbing and ultimately eradicating drugs and substance from Liberia. The MCC delegation is in country, and as I previously announced on the radio this morning, they are having strategic meetings with various sectors. The government of Liberia has been engaging a high-level delegation from the United States government, Mediterranean Challenge Corporation, led by Madam Kari Mohana, Managing Director for Africa. The delegation arrived in Liberia to strengthen long-standing development ties and begin key preparations for upcoming December MCC board meeting, where Liberia will be considered for a potential second compact. They are here, they are in the country to conduct what they call constraints to growth analysis. That analysis will inform the decision of the MCC as to which sector is critical in Liberia and to also be considered for possible MCC support. They are here and they will be engaged in the Ministry of Information tomorrow? On the 30th. So many thanks for your attention to this matter. Let me now invite Liberia's permanent representative to the IMO to the microphone.
Well, let me say a very good afternoon to all of you wonderful people of the Fourth Estate. And I'd like to begin by expressing our gratitude to the leadership and the family of the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, where I once worked and had a wonderful time working here, disseminating government policies, programs, and everything about the work of the government. So we would like to thank them for the generosity to share with us this very venerated stage from where the policies and programs of government I communicated. I'd like to recognize Mr. Roger Tier, who works for me in London at the IMO as our policy and technical chief. Roger is doing a very incredible job, and when you hear some of the wonderful things that we report from London, from the IMO to be precise, Rogers and the rest of the other colleagues are the soldiers behind me getting the work done for our country. Let me, through your microphones and cameras, greet fellow citizens across our country, and I do so with a deep sense of humility and patriotism. And let me reassure our people that the Liberia Permanent Mission in London has substantially changed for the better. The representation of our country is more qualitative. The transformation is legendary, and Liberia is indeed a true leader in the corridors of the International Maritime Organization. We are representing you well, and we are doing everything to make our country proud and make our people happy. Today we've come to talk to you about something 3 months ago I came to brief you about. 3 months ago, precisely, I remember, I told you Liberia was honorably chosen at the 7th AMA Summit in Dar es Salaam. And I represented, along with Dr. Harry Conway, our dear country, to that very historic conference of AMA in the historic city of Dar es Salaam. We were chosen to host the 8th AMA Summit. The summit being held in Tanzania, Dar es Salaam. Today I've come to report to you the 8th AMA conference is on the hills of our country now. And on the 30th of September, the 8th AMA conference will begin and ends on the 10th of October. Our dear country, Liberia, we, of course, relish the distinct honor of hosting this historic conference. We are deeply proud and honored as a country, firstly to be chosen by over 40 member states that comprise OMI to host this very critical conference. I should report to you that the OMI conference from the 30th of September to October 3rd will witness the gathering of global maritime experts, maritime leaders, and partners to assemble at the EJS Conference Center and chart the course of Africa's blue economy. The conference will convene under the theme Safeguarding the Ocean, Promoting Decarbonization, and Exploring Africa's Blue Economy Potential. Under this theme, we will discuss critical issues germane to the format or the sustainability of the global maritime sector, but precisely the African perspective, the continent. What do we intend to take Africa's blue economy? How can we harness Africa's blue economy potential? How can it be transformed and converted into economic benefits of our respective peoples and countries? So the issues that will be deliberated critically by experts, by partners, by maritime leaders drawn from across the continent will include: 1, strengthening maritime governance across the continent, which is very, very important. The sector has great potential. It's an economic frontier, but in order for it to yield the economic results that we need, in order for it to be used to enhance economic growth for our respective countries, we got to put into motion clear-cut frameworks, roadmaps, strategies to help us get to that result. So, in light of that, governance is very, very critical to the sustainability of the African maritime sector, or Africa's blue economy. We will also discuss the critical exigency of ensuring that now Africa emphasizes on digital technology to mend the sector. Everything we do today is technology, everything we do today is AI. The African maritime sector cannot be left behind. It has to come to terms with technology. It has to come to terms with the new age. So in that light, technology, digital, becomes very, very, very critical to enhancing international shipping. So we'll be looking at the exigency of technology in the industry to mend and to enhance proficiency in the industry. Of course, when you talk about OMI, OMI is a conglomerate of member states. So what should eventually happen is for countries to foster cooperation, partnership for the sustainable future of the sector, of the industry, amongst member states. So we will be discussing how we can strengthen relationship, how we can strengthen partnership, how we can pool our resources together, all 40 plus African countries, how we get together, set a common agenda and roadmap that will help the African blue economy rise to great, or if you may, greater heights. Then we will also look at empowering women and youth into the blue economy. When you talk about maritime, you talk about international shipping, you talk about seafarers. Maritime is a very massive, huge epistemology with different fields, from law to chef to engineering to naval architecture. And so what Africa want to do in effect, in order for us to compete with Europe, with Asia and the Americas, we want to put emphasis on training our people, looking at our maritime training institutions, investing money into them and bringing them up to par with those in Asia, you know, in Europe and other places, giving our young people the opportunity to get educated. We started out here at Maritime. I can report to you a month ago, or maybe a few weeks ago, we just enrolled into the Regional Maritime Institute, I think close to 25 students. Roger, is that close to 25 students? So, and the number, you know, keeps going up. And we're doing that as a policy direction to strengthen the academic intellectual capacity of the manpower that we want to see work in the sector and mend the sector. So empowerment is very critical. Women, there is a very long conversation about women in the sector and how we can ensure gender balance. The IMO is very keen on that, the AMA is very keen on that, so that would be another key topic to look at, to tackle, how we can eliminate this thing about women, you know, being the underdog in the sector or in the industry, and how we can ensure that we give women equal opportunity, you know, to compete with their male counterparts, to even lead in the sector, to play leadership role in the sector, you know, in every space of the sector, amongst other things. Let me re-emphasize to you that our country is deeply proud and honored to be the host, to enjoy the respect, to enjoy the confidence of over 40 African countries, to host this conference, where about 250 international delegates coming to the beautiful city of Monrovia, dignitaries included, the IMO being a part, the EU, the MOCA, and many other institutions, companies within the sector, to come and attend and participate in this. But what does it say, in effect? It says to you that our country is not just a member of AMA. Liberia is a leader in the global maritime sector. Our representation at the IMO, like I said, is very qualitative. Liberia chairs the MEPC, one of the largest statutory committee of IMO. Liberia is a founding member since 2012 AMA, and our signature is penned on the formation of AMA, and since then we led with Dr. Harry Corey serving as the first chair. We continue to play leadership role in the secretariat. But our country is a very respectable country in the domain of global maritime. Liberia is a whitelist country. As you know, it's the largest registry. Now, all of these laurels do not come on silver platter. They come on the backs of hard work, discipline. We work diligently. We conform to the instruments of global maritime. We are a respecter of the international maritime law. We are sitting at category A with 9 other countries at the IMO and charting the course of global maritime. Our voice continues to echo aloud against piracy, against attack on vessels moving in the Red Sea. So Liberia continues to be respected in this industry. It's a pride for all of us. It's a win for our country. Doesn't matter which political party you affiliate with. Doesn't matter the ideology that you have contrast to ours. What matters at this moment is Liberia. So whether you come from Grenjide or you come from Lufa, or whether you from CDC or Liberty Party or Unity Party, this feat we cherish together. We will be hosting over 250 guests from across the continent and other parts of the world. And may I inform you that you will also have countries from Asia and the Middle East. I know the Saudi is coming with huge delegation. They are coming to participate. The conference will have panels discussing the different topics that I talk about. Sustainable governance, maritime security, issue of piracy, issue of women, gender equality, issue of technology. How do we empower youth to be more active and serve as the fulcrum going forward for this sector? So the thought process is to focus on the Africa's blue economy from a standpoint of sustainability. In order for you to sustain something, you have to do certain things. You got to train people. You got to look at the laws. You know, you got to have clear-cut agenda, doable and practicable, to make the sector viable, to serve you, you know, in the way you desire. Someone asked me what could be the possible benefits of the conference, and I said to them, I can look at it in three folds. One, with 250 plus international, delegates trooping on Monrovia. They are coming in this country with US dollars and pounds and other foreign currency. So this way impact your economy for 4 days, and with greater trickle-down effect, because they're not coming to sleep in your hotels free. We got executives coming. The Nigeria Blue Economy Minister, who is one of the most powerful person, who's the master, the Nigeria Maritime, works on his authority and direction. He's flying in here, for a day and moving with very huge delegation. Countries are coming. The Saudis are coming here. They're going to spend money. They got money. They're going to eat in your restaurant. They're going to go to your bars. They're going to sleep in your hotels. So economically, this will impact the country substantially. But beyond that, this conference will witness experts around the world, maritime experts, on different aspects of maritime, whether law, whether engineering, whether administration, whether governance, whether women empowerment, ocean governance. So there is a panoply of topics on which you will have experts sitting on and deliberating. So there is what you call intellectual and academic benefits that the country, is expected to relish. It also says to you, your country is respected. To be chosen amongst 40 plus African countries to host this conference. It means you're conducting and equipping yourself very well in the international space. People see you as leader. People see you as a country that has turned the corner from savageism, from atrocity, to now a destination of hope, good governance and peace. 2 months ago, our country was elected as a non-permanent member on the UN Security Council. And our country now is charged with the responsibility to champion global peace. This is a country 15 years, had a 15-year civil strife, war, bloodletting, atrocities, indescribable. Today is a country trusted amongst countries of the world to champion global peace. You have to credit it to the leadership and to the governance that is unfolding in your country. And now you're hosting what is second to the OAU Summit held in 1979. This is a very major conference of huge eminence with over 40 plus countries coming here. I think it's a pride for all of us. I think it's a win for our country, and I think this is a wonderful stepping stone for our country to keep going to greater heights. So to you, we would like to plead to the consciences of our people. When we went to Dar es Salaam, Tanzania owned this conference. The people lined the streets. When we met them in the bars and in the restaurant, they came and greeted us with respect and grace and kindness. Liberia is a place, a country known for hospitality. We are decent people. We ask you from RIA to Monrovia. So you come in contact with our guests, they will have talk. Please show them the Liberianness in you. Please show them hospitality. Please impress them. Please say to them, welcome to the beautiful shores of Monrovia. The Maritime, the Lima Communication Department want me to convey to you that there is a process in place to accredit, give you accreditation. I think they're going to be working with the Ministry of Information to give you accreditation, because this is an international conference. We want order there. You cannot just have people pulling in and pulling out, and then we have to account for you. Of course, the BBC, the Al Jazeera will be there. We also want to show you the respect that you deserve as the national press, to be fully identified. So they want me to convey that to you. They will announce that in subsequent time, working with Mika on the accreditation. I think Famule will be the guy leading our charge along our Lima team. Commissioner Lai has asked us to convey his sentiments, his greetings. He's away on international duty, expecting the country soon to join us. But we've done everything. We're doing the heavy lifting. I can say to you pretty much, we're prepared to host this thing. We're prepared to make history and to showcase our country. This is also another moment I didn't talk about, for us to project Liberia as a country. Our culture troupe, we're working alongside the Mika team to have our culture troupe there and dancing and the beautiful, no one compete, no one come across. I mean, no one can measure with our culture troupe. They will be there to demonstrate our culture. And then there'll be many things on display. But this will give us an opportunity to project the Liberian hospitality, to project our culture, our tradition, and the wonderful stops we have made of as a country and people. So I just want to say thank you for the opportunity, Mika family. And I'd like to ask the press, please own this. Please write your editorials and your story with a lot of momentum. Demonstrate your Liberianness and patriotism. Promote this conference for the good of our country. So thank you, and God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Kpadah. September 27 is as World Tourism Day. So the Tourism Minister have some brief remarks to make. So we entertain those remarks before we take questions from the press. Madam Minister.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let me say greetings to our able representative from the IMO, to my SMT colleagues, especially our acting minister, Mr. Johnny Tapa, family, all protocol observed. So members of the press, the Fourth Estate, distinguished partners, colleagues, and friends of the tourism sector. On behalf of the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, I am pleased and honored that Liberia will join the rest of the world in celebrating World Tourism Day on September the 27th and under the global theme, Tourism and Sustainable Transformation. Tourism and Sustainable Transformation. So let that sink in your brains for a moment. This year's national celebration will be held at the Providence Island. As you all know, our Providence Island signifies a very historic site in this nation history. The program will bring together government institutions, private sector partners, students, and communities to reflect on the vital role of tourism in Liberia's growth and transformation. We had initially confirmed the South African ambassador, Professor Iqbal Jazbeh, to be the guest speaker, but due to some urgent trip, he has now assigned his deputy, the Deputy Chief of Mission of the South African Embassy. His name is Stephen Nswa. He will be speaking at this program. World Tourism Day is not just a symbolic observance. It is a reminder that tourism, when developed responsibly, can create jobs, protect the environment, empower women and youth, and preserve the culture that defines us as a people. You know, culture is a way of life. Most people don't know. Liberia has immense potential, from our heritage sites to our natural landscapes, and this celebration is about to unlocking the potential for the benefit of all Liberians, all of us. The program will feature cultural showcases, exhibitions, panel discussions, and recognition of outstanding contributions to the sector. We are especially proud of the involvement of our student community. They will be there, the hospitality schools, the MCSS student will be there as well, because the future of this industry rests in their hands. I would also like to recognize the private sector for standing with us. We deeply appreciate the sponsorship of our partners such as the UNDP, Boulevard Palace Hotel, the Monrovia City Corporation, Mayor John Siafa, as always, and the council lady there, my own bestie, Ms. Fatima Bintu Salif. We also do have LRA Double Jala, whose support demonstrates the strong collaboration needed to move Liberia's tourism agenda forward. As we prepare for Saturday's celebration, I call on all Liberians to join us in embracing tourism as a force for sustainable transformation in line with the Arrest agenda and our shared vision for a national renewal. Together we can make tourism not just an industry for visitors, but a foundation for prosperity, unity, and pride. I thank you, and I look forward to seeing you at the Providence Island. Food will be served. We have caterer from UNDP that will be serving a sumptuous meal. Refreshment will be served. I anticipate that members of this body, press, I know that we all know that if you don't report it, then nobody would know. So I anticipate that you all would join us in this celebration. Thank you so much, and Mr. Minister. Thank the ministry too, and we also want to say thank you to our Honorable Minister Jerolemic Pierre. I know he's watching. We always call him the lion. We know you're working so hard, and kudos. Go ahead.
With that being said, we will now ask those of you who have questions to please join the queue. You can, of course, the first speaker of the press union, the president of the press union is not here. Not too sure you have a question for him. You can ask your question to Ambassador PUL, and the ministry team is here to take questions from the press as well.
Please introduce yourself. Very brief question.
You get pen?
Alright, so my name is Mopolo and I work for Inside Liberia. My question goes to Kpadah. Taking into consideration the importance that is attached to the coming conference and seeing the amount of dedicated that are expected to be in the country, the question is, who is the sponsor of this financial and who is the sponsor? Is it the IMO or the government of Liberia? But let's agree that it's the government of Liberia. How much are we to spend on this? Thank you so much.
Thank you. So my name is Mrs Kanubah, and I've got questions goes to about Kpadah, the visionary for the IMO representing Liberia, and both for North Africa and Mali. Sir, you spoke about youth empowerment. You spoke about women empowerment. You talk about safeguarding and economics, and that's very well in regard to the university. But my question is to you as representative. How many ships are there that you as representative on IMO in Liberia are there flying Liberian flag? How many persons from Liberia working on the ships? And how are they being recruited? And what is the most benefit in regard to these organizations coming to Liberia? And the other one has to do to able talking Minister Mr. Daniel Sano. Mr. Daniel Sano, some years back in the beginnings of former President George Weah, he spoke about every Liberian taking their own security in their own hands. In regard to the recent fire actions at his home, has the Liberian government been able to somewhat him to turn all CCTV footage so that we can be able to investigate the fire incidents? Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Desmond Muyon and I report for Democracy Watch newspaper. Thanks so kindly to the permanent rep to the IMO, and my concern specifically goes to you, Honorable Robert Whitmore, Monsieur PUL. This conference is very historic, and I'm inclined to know it is the first of its kind for Liberia to host. Looking at the several other panel presenters, is the conference going to take into consideration adaptation of resolution that will bring about new laws for our blue economy for Africa? And away from that, in terms of particular theme, does the conference has a particular theme that is going to be celebrated more? I didn't hear you talking about that. And to the government spokes entity, you said that the fire incident at the former president's residence, of which you spoke or you quoted verbatim from the report from the fire service. In that report, he initially stated that, whatever it is, but the press statement as a claim is also because the minister. But whatever is on the press statement, thanks for the correction. We always put it on them. So the statement initially said the cause of the former president watered into fire was caused by electrical shock. I heard you, electrical shock. Then I'm a bit concerned. How did the fire service manage to discover that incident, that fire incident, was led or was predicated on an electrical shock, and on which they are still again that they are now trying to conduct an investigation to determine the cause of the fire that took place at the house of the former president. Thank you.
My name is Joseph Selim and I report for TV. My first question goes to the head of the IMO. Parliament generated over $16 billion in revenue when it comes to the maritime activities because Liberia in Parliament is the highest in terms of registry. But there are a lot of posts who are currently generating huge revenue in Liberia. Since Liberia being the highest, we only have one major functional post. I want to know, with this conference, will you guys take into consideration to work with the stakeholders in that sector to ensure that we revamp all of our ports across the country, that we can have vessels being registered, that we can increase our domestic revenue? And to the government spokesperson, let me just do what my colleague said, as it relates to the fire service. The fire service informed us that they were prevented from entering into the former president house to conduct investigation. So my question is, how do the fire service reconcile the issue of investigating outside of the president house, because they said it was a fire, it was as a result of a shock, and they're now coming back to tell us that it was prevented? How did the fire service conducted their own investigations to determine? Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Kpadah. My name is Christopher Benson, and I work for Inside Liberia. Talking about the enhancement of maritime security, talking about environmental protection across Africa, and talking about the security sector. How does we actually plan to leverage this platform in strengthening regional cooperation? Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Lawrence David, and I report for Maritime. My first question goes to Ambassador Kpadah. Thank you for the explanation. And I listened to you talking about the physical and the density of what a person will think when it comes to the summit. But my concern has to do with the rural Liberians. Are there plans to be invited to also be part of the summit? Thank you. To Mr. Sano, you talked about the vice president visit, and he said he's expected to be back this evening. Is the visit official, or which type of visit is the vice president attending to England? Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so I will start from the beginning. The first question was about the sponsorship. Now, the way it works, the host country does the heavy lifting, and of course, I'm also play a part. So I know in terms of getting delegates here, they are done by member states. And I know as a host country, the way AMA is structured and the practice will be for us to do the heavy lifting, provide the conference space, provide vehicles, food for delegates. Those are things that the host country obviously must do as a member state. I'm not certain, but I know our share of the cost is around 200,000 to host this conference. The details can be, released by the Lima people. I'm not much into financial matter, but I know Liberia is doing the heavy lifting through Lima, logistics, getting vehicle for people coming here, providing food, dinner here and there, printing of souvenirs. They come to your country, you have to print souvenirs, you have to do this, so for 3 to 4 days is a lot. So, but that's the cost that host country must bear, and that demonstrates your membership, as a member of AMA. Someone asked about how many ships. I think Liberia have 5,000 ships registered. How many Liberians on vessels? I don't have the stats. You can get that stats from Lima. There's an office responsible for that. But I do know what we are doing currently, and I said that over and over again. Maritime is a highly professionalized area with deep epistemology, meaning different subjects. To get people, the ship is not where you just send anybody. You don't put buffoons on the ship. You got to train people, from engineers to chef, to architect, and other people have to train them. And so what this administration is doing is to get people trained, educated, And I talk about that. I talk about how now our administration getting people to the Regional Maritime University. And let me just inform you, just 3 days ago, Liberia sent off 2 young Liberians to India. They are going to be trained as naval architects, engineers, for the first time since this country was established. You have never had a naval architect engineer, people who build ship, people who are going to be trained in the technology of building ship. It is this government, it is this administration that are doing that. And we have upped the enrollment now to the Regional Maritime University. The essence and the mentality of doing that is to have these people get graduated, get professionalized, and then say to the ships, yeah, our people, they have the requisite education. They can now mend the ship, they can be seafarers, you know. So that's what we are doing, fundamentally, and that's what we ought to do. I hope I answered that. Someone talked about every conference, AMA conference comes up with a resolution. So first thing, at the 7th AMA summit in Dar es Salaam, there was a resolution on the way for what we want to do. You know, in terms of framework and stuff. We'll take stock of that resolution, what we've done and what we have not done since that resolution was reached in the 7th summit. And then the Moravia summit, the 8th summit, put an emphasis on what needs to be done to complete that, so there will be resolution at the end of this summit. That resolution is meant to guide us that over the next year, before we get to the 9th summit, which will be held or hosted by Accra, we would have said we want to do X, Y, Z. When we get to Accra, we do a stock of what was done. Did we complete? Did we realize what we wanted to do? So there are a whole lot of things. So yeah, there will be at the end of the conference resolution. So I want to talk about what Panama generating, and I didn't get that question very well. With respect to what Liberia generates from shipping or from maritime, those information public, so you can check with what you call them, what are the tax people here? LRA. So Double Jada, they have those facts. They deal with that. I don't deal with that. I'm a maritime diplomat. I'm in London. My job is to represent you internationally, to make sure you have qualitative representation relative to numbers of money and stuff. Talk to the LRA people. They will tell you. But those are information that you can access readily. How Liberia plan to leverage this? First, let me just let you know that on the different panels, Liberia have experts that will be looking at different issues. The essence of this is to bring experts and maritime leaders and partners in the room. Look at all of the issues that border on the sustainability of the sector, and then have a framework or a roadmap. That roadmap, every member of AMA, every African maritime member states, now draw their policies, devise their working strategy in line with that common agenda, with that common framework. All right? So all of the expertise that will be deployed in the conference, all of the countries will benefit, because we'll come up with one agenda, we'll come up with one framework, and say from that framework, we will move this direction, the common direction. But let me also inform you that Liberia itself is currently drafting its 5 to 7 year plan, what you call a blue economy plan. What do we want to do the next 5 to 7 years? How we want to build the economy? How we can ensure that this blue economy, our water endowment, our resources now being converted into economic blessings. What we need to do, one thing that is critical is training people. Manpower, very important. All right, mobilizing investment in the sector. You have a lot of other ways. What can we do to get cruise boats on Lake Piso to generate revenue? What can we do to edify the Providence Island with the beautiful water cycle in it? What can we do with our rivers going to southeast, the whole southeast, surrounded by water? How can we not focus on what you call water transport? You know, we have vehicles going, but talking about huge consignment. How can we not begin to find a way to get boats, to get ships that move to move to Maryland, move to Grand Crew, to take huge supplies that the vehicle would not be able to take? So shipyards and other things, you know, how can we, you know, spur the hospitality industry? You know, so when we talk about the blue economy, those are the implements of the blue economy. Many things need to be done, but you can't do them without training the right personnel or the manpower to man the sector and give you the result that you need. So when you talk about, and that's why this conference is focusing on empowerment. For young people, we talk about empowerment to get into school, educate them, you know, and Liberia is already taking action. I just said to you, we have up our enrollment in RMU. We got 2 young Liberians going to India in few years. They will come back by the grace of God in flying colors, and Liberia will register or will record the first 2 naval architects, you know, engineer, people who can build ships, people who can build boats, coming for the first time in our country. So Liberia taking steps. Do we need to do more? We do more, but we want to do them very, 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 very meticulously, having a clear framework, clear roadmap, which we're doing with our blue economy plan. And whatever we do, we align with the agenda, the common agenda, African common agenda, on how we intend to build out. And this is what happened in the Middle East. This is what happened in Europe. This is what happened in Asia. Countries in the different continents come together, set the roadmap, and say, by this way, we intend to build the sector. Someone asked about playing for the rural. I don't know. This is a specialized summit about maritime. So how do you intend to just get rural people? So most of the people you find in the sector, you know, you will find the NPA people will be there. The Coast Guard people will be there. The APN terminal people, the sector will be there. So it's a specialized conference with particular focus or emphasis on maritime, on the African blue economy. So it's not something where you can just get getting everybody there. Also, as part of what we want to do to open the eyes of young people, we'll be invited. Students have been invited. The MCSS